folks, I wanted to do another quick pond update. This is just turning out so cool. Nothing's perfect, but it's turning out great. So we've got our whole excavated area is now complete. We're going to do cleanup and to daylight these rock benches, which are absolutely gorgeous, and under the water they'll look so incredible, and the colors will change and they'll be really dynamic. I'm right now standing on this berm that's behind my shop, and the water line here is about 2 feet below where this the bottom of this footing starts. Right there you can see a pink line. It's kind of somewhere around here, so it's not very deep up on this because we've got this bench here, which when you're standing here will be, you know, just up to your knees, and then it drops down, and then we've got these two wicked slabs here, and we've daylighted them both pretty well. I don't want to jump down there right now, but just you can kind of see from an angle here. And the really cool thing about them is they both go down like this. And so you could almost imagine that this was just a swimming pool on its own, and that's what you would have as your shallow end and your deep end. Super cool. And here too. And at the bottom of those, the bottom of that slab there, it's about 7 or 8 feet deep. And here it comes up a little bit, probably 5 to 6 feet deep. I haven't lasered that one yet, but I will do all of these soon. And we've got this kind of knob here. And so what I'm going to do is build a deck eventually off the back of this. We're going to pack this more. This hasn't been packed yet, actually. The keyways and the high sides have been packed, or the low sides, I should say. I'm going to build a dock and put a sonotube, maybe 2 sonotubes with some rebar drilled into that rock, and then get that up and have a wicked dock that comes out here that you could jump off anywhere this way or this way and get into the deep end. But yeah, so this is going along very, very well. We've been using a gas blower just to clean this off, and still got a lot to clean off here and just shove all this stuff down. We might be able to we could. If we consolidate it enough, we'll come down and scoop it out and maybe even shore it up on the bank, or just do something with it. But yeah, so this is all getting packed really solid. Coming down here, this is our keyway dam now, because the water continuously will naturally go down towards the other pond, which we have begun construction on. I'm excited to show you, but there's not much to show yet, and there's 2 machines down there, so I might not go down there yet. What I want to show you in this video is the shape of this, the thinking behind it, and then show you the spillway and how that's going to work. So this is what's referred to a keyway. And what happened here was the ground was, you know, not too far off that road, my access to my the other pond down there. And we've scraped it down as far as we could, which actually just basically hit bedrock. This whole shelf continues down and goes down to the pond, which is so cool because this next pond is going to be much deeper. It's the lower point than this pond. So this is going to spill over into that. And I have 2 places I'll be able to pump water. One in the culvert by the garage here, which goes down 12 feet from where the little shed is here. And then another will be just from the pond itself down there. We'll be able to push water up here. We're looking at a type of ram pump that can do that just passively all the time once we're in season for water. And also I'll have more pumps down there that I can just plug in with electricity if I really just want to give her and push a lot of water up here. So this is the keyway, and this is the gateway to where the water naturally goes down. What was done here is when we got down to the lowest we could go with ground, it connects a bedrock, more bedrock up here, and another bedrock point there, which is the mouth of this dam. And this is the highest point we've got water. But when I show you the spillway, it's super cool. One thing my operator told me is that the general rule when you're doing geo work like this is everything has to be 1-to-1. So for every foot you come up in elevation on a dam, you have to go a foot out. And then that gives you double. So that would say if we went up 8 feet, which is approximately what this is, maybe 10, we have to make sure that we have 16 to 20 feet width, and more is better. And we actually do have more here. So it's really good. So we've got this big berm here, and when they made this, they cut a keyway into the bottom of it, which is a shape like that, a keyway, just like sticking a key into a door, and we packed the hell out of it with that packer, which basically gets this solid piece where water might want to push through, but then it has to go up and it won't, and so you key in the material. Then we started dumping material back into it and packing it hardcore with water, every 1 foot lift, every 1 foot lift. This is so packed, it's not going to falter because we've got this beautiful silty clay material, which my operator basically selected as the best material for this. And so we've built that up. This is all packed solid here. And what's going to happen is we want this dam to be able to spill over. Now, if you spill a dam over high on a keyway, if you don't use a culvert or anything, the potential damage you can do is that when the water comes out, it can erode your bank. But that's easily solved with a culvert and any type of piping to make sure that doesn't happen. You see that on on banks all the time, especially out here in BC. You'll see these little culverts that collect surface water off the road, and then they divert them off and they culvert them all the way down the bank so there's no erosion happening. So that's solved that way, which we could have done if we needed to. But we have even a better sort of serendipity with the topography here and the geology that's really going to make a really cool spillway with this culvert. So down here, this looks to me about 10 feet. I'll have to laser it to find out for sure, but that's what it looks like below the surface. This shelf comes up a bit here, connecting to this rock knob here, just past the culvert. And so at this point here, I'm probably 5.5, maybe 6 feet deep. Here, I'm already 4 feet. It comes up really shallow, following the rock. And so what we're going to do is put our culvert right through here. And the cool thing about this is that the water's shallower here too. So there's less pressure here, which is great because we're going to have a little diversion cut in here. So we'll put this culvert in here at about a 2% grade. It'll come down. So anything that comes into it is just going to trickle through it. And we're going to spill it over onto bedrock, all bedrock. So the water flowing out of the dam won't touch the bank. And I don't even have to use any more piping or big O or any of that, though we could if we had to. If there was an issue here, we could absolutely do that. But it's not going to be because it's serendipitously working out, getting that water. This is a nice 18-foot culvert and getting it over right onto the rock, and anything that comes to that surface will just go through and trickle down to the next pond. And this next pond is the original pond that I found when I came here. This was a natural pond too. All these things are natural ponds, and we're just making them better. And so this pond has more trees around it, and at first I didn't really notice this pond. I didn't think about it. This is so much brush and trees, and I didn't think about it. But I saw this one right away, and it's part of the reason why the people who built this property or developed this little cabin that was here put this culvert underneath that stairwell there. So how this little system works is this shack is it's about 12 by 16 by 12 by 16, and then underneath it the foundation is 8 feet deep. It's a big cistern. And then he put a culvert underneath this stair that just goes right down deep into the ground and pumps out the groundwater that happens here in the spring melt and in the fall precipitation, basically 2 times a year. And then he pumps that water from the culvert into the little cistern unit that's here. So that's what was here. And they put that there because of this pond feature that was already there. This is already a bit of a basin that collects water in the area and collects everything that comes in this top watershed. And they would just pump it in there. So now we're gonna do the same thing, pump the water in that pond or in this culvert back up into here passively, and we'll always be able to have water here, essentially. Time will tell, basically, but that's the plan thus far. So this pond in here, again, which is the one that we saw first, is now going to be a lot smaller because we'll do another video on it. I don't want to go in there because the machines they're cranking. So, but in there's a lot more trees. There's cedars and really tall poplars and stuff. And I don't want to go in there and take down a bunch of these beautiful trees. So we can just make a really small pond that's an overflow pond. And what you'll see when we go down there is we're actually preserving the natural spillway that just follows into the draw, and it goes through a series of culverts that I have. So it's so cool. But yeah, we'll show that one in another video, but we'll leave it here for this one. Have a great day, folks. Thanks for watching, folks. If you want to learn any more about the products and services that we offer, head over to freedomfarmers.com. We can teach you how to get on the land and everything else from there.